Chaos has a strange way of revealing people. Some panic, some freeze, some collapse under the weight of uncertainty. And then there is the rare type, the man who stands in the middle of the storm as if it were nothing more than weather passing through. A man who does not hyperreact, does not run, does not lose himself when everything around him unravels. He doesn't flinch, not because he is emotionless, not because he is reckless, not because he wants to look strong. He doesn't flinch because chaos to him is familiar, almost predictable. Some men break in chaos, others are built in it. This is the Sigma male, the outlier who doesn't just survive chaos, he often performs better inside it. And not because he tries to prove anything, but because chaos aligns with the way he sees the world. This video isn't about glorifying a personality archetype. It's about explaining the psychological reality behind why some men move differently when life becomes unstable, and why society misinterprets their composure as coldness, arrogance, or detachment. This is the anatomy of a man who doesn't flinch. Chaos exposes people's internal architecture. When life becomes unpredictable, when pressure increases, when uncertainty rises, when everything stops following a script, you get to see exactly what a person is made of. But Sigma men do not unravel in chaos the way most people do. In fact, they often become clearer, sharper, and more efficient. Their thinking sharpens, their instincts heighten, their emotional noise quiets, their decision-making improves. Why? Because Sigma men spend their lives outside standard social choreography. They are used to uncertainty, internal conflict, mental resistance, and solitary problem solving. They do not rely on group stability to find emotional stability. Their identity is internal, meaning chaos outside doesn't destabilize their sense of self inside. This makes them extremely adaptable in turbulent environments. This video breaks down the 10 reasons Sigma men handle chaos better than anyone with psychological reasoning, uncomfortable truths, and deep behavioral analysis. These points are long, raw, and directly tied to why Sigma men don't flinch. 1. He has spent his entire life operating without a safety net, so chaos feels familiar, not threatening. Most people are conditioned to rely on structures, emotional support, social groups, institutional guidance, and predictable routines. Sigma men rarely grow up depending on those systems either by personality or by circumstance. They learn early that relying too heavily on others makes them vulnerable, so they build themselves from within. When chaos arrives, it destabilizes people whose foundations depend on external predictability. But the Sigma male's internal foundation is already hardened through self-reliance. He has lived without guarantees, without applause, without consistent backup. If you are used to standing alone, storms feel like old friends. Chaos doesn't shock him. It simply awakens practices he has lived with silently for years. 2. His emotional responses are not hijacked by social pressure, meaning he thinks clearly when others collapse. Chaos scrambles people's emotional systems, fear amplifies, ego takes over, group panic becomes contagious. But Sigma men are not wired to follow emotional crowds. They don't absorb collective fear the way others do, because they are psychologically insulated from group influence. This gives them a major advantage in chaos, a clean emotional channel. They feel fear but do not become it. They feel pressure but do not drown in it. They process emotions but do not let emotions dictate action. Clarity is a superpower in a world that thinks with panic. The Sigma male's emotional discipline makes him immune to the social frenzy that destroys most people under pressure. 3. He observes before he reacts, giving him strategic vision when others are blind. Most people in chaos behave impulsively. They want immediate answers, immediate action, immediate direction. This leads to reckless decisions. The Sigma male is wired differently. His natural instinct is to pause, watch, and analyze. Not freeze study. Chaos becomes clearer when observed rather than feared. Patterns emerge. Motives become visible. Weak points reveal themselves. While others react based on emotion, he thinks based on information. You win half of your battles simply by refusing to move before you understand the terrain. His lack of flinching is not stoicism, it is strategic patience. 4. He is not addicted to control. so losing it doesn't shatter him. The average person believes they control more than they actually do. Their identity depends on predictability, comfort, and routine. So when chaos destroys their illusion of control, they collapse with it. Sigma men do not suffer from this illusion. They know the world is unstable. They know people are unpredictable. They know life doesn't obey personal desires. This acceptance becomes power, because chaos cannot steal from a man who expects nothing from stability. The less you depend on the world behaving, the harder you are to break. The Sigma doesn't flinch because he never needed control to stand strong. 5. He treats pressure as information, not attack, turning stress into tactical insight. Most people interpret pressure as a threat. Sigma men interpret pressure as data. Stress reveals weaknesses. Stress reveals priorities. Stress reveals what actually matters and what was only noise. To the Sigma male, pressure is not an enemy, it is a diagnostic tool. This gives him the ability to stay calm when others panic. His brain processes stress analytically, not emotionally. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" he asks, "What is this trying to show me?" Pressure exposes the truth. Calm men pay attention. This mindset makes chaos not only manageable but useful. 6. He is not dependent on external identity. So chaos doesn't threaten his sense of self. People who flinch in chaos often do so because chaos threatens their ego, their job title, their social role, their image, their perceived control, their stability. Sigma men don't attach their identity to external roles. Their identity is internal, built from introspection, solitude, and personal philosophy. When chaos destroys external structures, they remain intact. While others ask, "Who am I without these things?" a Sigma male already knows. A man who knows himself cannot be lost. Chaos can damage his circumstances, but it cannot damage his core. 7. He has a higher chaos tolerance because he doesn't fear social fallout. Only truth and consequence. Many people panic not because of the situation itself, but because of how they'll look in it. What will people think? What if I look weak? What if I lose approval? Sigma men are immune to this fear. Social judgment does not influence their decisions. They will do what is necessary even if it makes them unpopular. They do not freeze under the weight of image management. This gives them massive behavioral freedom in chaotic environments. Because he is not thinking about appearances, he can focus on outcomes. When you stop fearing judgment, chaos loses half its power. This detachment from social evaluation makes his mind sharper under pressure. 8. He has built his life on adaptability. So unexpected change doesn't overwhelm him. Chaos is nothing more than rapid change. People who resist change panic. People who rely on routine malfunction. People who hate uncertainty collapse. But the Sigma male's life philosophy is built on adaptability. He does not cling to fixed paths, rigid identities, or predictable futures. He can pivot without losing himself. This makes him extremely effective in chaos. Where others see catastrophe, he sees new parameters. Where others see the end, he sees the next stage. Where others freeze, he recalibrates. Adaptation isn't a reaction, it's an instinct. An instinct is faster than panic. 9. His mind filters out noise, instantly allowing him to focus on what actually matters. Chaos generates noise, emotional noise, social noise, mental noise. Most people drown in it. Sigma men filter it out. They ignore irrelevant drama. They discard distractions. They silence emotional clutter. They cut straight to essentials. This makes their decision-making brutally efficient. Clarity is born the moment you stop entertaining noise. When chaos hits, they don't get overwhelmed by the entire situation, they lock onto what's actionable. This precision makes them unusually steady in moments where others are scattered. 10. His strength comes from solitude, meaning he doesn't crumble when support systems fail. Chaos often isolates people. Friend groups disappear. Support systems fail. Social structures become unreliable. But Sigma men are already forged in solitude. Their mental strength does not depend on others. Their emotional stability does not require validation. Their confidence does not come from external reinforcement. This makes chaos their native environment. When isolation breaks others, it empowers him. A man who stands alone cannot be cornered. This is why he doesn't flinch. Solitude is not a punishment to him, it is home. On a final note, the Sigma male's ability to withstand chaos is not mystical, it is not superhuman, it is not built on delusion or inflated self-image. It is built on self-reliance, emotional clarity, adaptability, detachment from social pressure, acceptance of uncertainty, and a strong internal identity. Chaos does not break him because he was never balanced on the fragile structures that break most people. He doesn't flinch because chaos cannot take anything from him that he hasn't already learned to live without. The man who doesn't fear chaos is the man who has already walked through it alone. And that is why Sigma men handle chaos better than anyone.